This is the BenQ X300G. It's a portable short throw gaming projector with true 4K 60 and up to 1080p 240 with HDR, and it's got input lag as low as 4.16 milliseconds, and you can achieve the equivalent of a 100-inch screen at just 1.5 meters away. It's got a 1.2 optical zoom to change the throw without losing any quality. It's also got auto 3D keystone, which squares the image if the projector's at an angle. It's got built-in Android TV 11 with Netflix, YouTube, and everything you can imagine, and it also comes with a remote. So big thank you to BenQ for sending this over to me to review, but of course all opinions are my own as always. BenQ even told me, look, just tell them what you think. And big props for that, because I was gonna anyway. So one of its biggest features is one of the things I love the most about it, and that is portability. And that's something they've really wanted to focus on with the X300G, because this is designed to be moved from room to room rather than just like screwing it to the ceiling and being in a set location. And because of its portability, they've put setup at the forefront and made it just ridiculously easy. So in the box, you get the actual projector itself, you get a power lead, and you get the remote with batteries as well. And all you need to do is set down the X300G wherever you're thinking of putting it, literally get the power lead, plug it into the wall, get the end of the cable, plug it into the projector, and you're done. Now obviously there's a little bit more to it if you want to plug a console into it, but there really isn't that much more to it, really. On the side of the projector, we've got a USB port, an HDMI port, and a USB-C display port with power delivery. And what does that mean? Well, it means you can plug in your handheld like the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck, or the Asus ROG Ally, or any of these kind of devices with one singular cable, including the Switch. You do not need a dock. No fiddling around with cables. You need one cable, and you plug it into the projector and then into the Switch, and it will work from that. It both powers the Switch with an 18-watt power delivery supply, and it also, feeds the data through this cable and then uses that to project the image. It is insane. It's such an easy setup. There's one fatal flaw here though. They don't give you the cable. So you have to go out and buy the cable. So I actually had to go and buy the cable just to make sure I was getting the right one. So I got a USB 4 40 gigabits per second cable to ensure, basically this is the best you can get currently, just to ensure that it was going to work correctly. Now, BenQ themselves actually recommend that you go and find an IF certified cable just to ensure that it's gonna hit all those criteria. But of course, if you wanted to hook up your PlayStation or your Xbox or anything else, you can hook it up via the HDMI port. So it was as simple as that. I set this up in my kitchen going into my dining room on that wall just there, but I also set it up in the studio. Now, one really cool thing about this is the fact that you don't need to ceiling mount this. So it's got that short throw of like 1.5 meters for a 100-inch or 1.8 meters for 120-inch screen, and that just means you can just use the thing directly. It's got a little flippy stand on the bottom of it, and it's got built-in really good audio as well, and you can just pop it on the side or pop it on the floor or pop it on a chair or whatever you want to do, or you can do what I've done and stuck it on a light stand just so that I could move it around a little bit easier. But yeah, they focused on portability, and I really love that. And that's where it comes in with that optical zoom as well. You've got that optical zoom, so you don't actually have to physically move the projector or use digital zoom, which loses quality. The lens actually moves just like a camera lens where you zoom in and out, and you're keeping the quality there. It's the glass moving, and it changes the size of the projector for you just to make sure that it's going to fit, which is really cool. And also that's where this 3D keystone technology comes in. So you don't have to have the projector directly in front of you. You can actually have it off axis on an angle to the corner, and instead of it being all blown out and stretched and weird like shape on the wall, after a second, it automatically corrects that image. It's actually really, really good. And it's all automatic as well. Now, what I do love about it is on the remote control, there is a button for each of these settings. So if you want to zoom it, you press the button, and then you can actually manually, change the zoom level. And the same with the 3D keystone technology. You can press the button if it's not quite right, or if maybe it's not figuring it out perfectly because you're at more of a harsh angle or something, you can manually go in there and tweak that. And you can even tweak the rotation location as well. Now in the settings, you can go through and say how you're mounting it. You can say, yes, I am ceiling mounting it, or mounting it on the floor from the front, or you can even put it behind a screen as well. So it will throw on to the back of the screen instead of having to have the projector in front of you. That's really cool. Not something I managed to test out because I don't have a projector screen, but that is like best case scenario, is to have an actual projector screen, a really nice white screen, and pull that down. I've got grey walls, so really dark grey walls. That looked brilliant. And downstairs where I was using it into the dining room, it's got really dark blue, like royal blue walls as well. So you can offset that in the settings. So you can even go through to one of the settings and you can choose the wall color that you've got. So it changes the color, or you can manually just correct the color. But in my opinion, it looked great just straight out of the bag. So setting it up was really easy. I really like the inclusion of that optical zoom there, the 1.2 times optical zoom, where you can literally just zoom in and out without having to move the projector. And that key to stone technology is brilliant. Otherwise, you're forced to have it directly, in the right position. The only thing I wish it had was a way, as if like the lens on it, or the projection inside, was on a gimbal, so that you could actually turn the lens up and down, because you're relying on actually physically moving the box up and down to change the pitch of the projected image. And that means physically moving the box, right? Yes, it's got a stand on the base that cocks it up even higher, but my problem was the opposite. So if I put it on my kitchen work surface, it was then too high. So I actually had to then pop it down on the chair or on this light stand to bring the image down, because obviously I can make the image higher with the stand, but I can't lower it because I'd actually have to physically move the box. So that's the only downside I see, is the fact that there's no way of like lowering the image, because there's a physical way of hiring it. There's no way of like lowering the image. So maybe if there's a Mark II, if they could put like a gimbal around the projector lens and stuff so that you could actually angle precisely where you wanted it, that would be a cool thing. But honestly, I'm just being like nitpicky here. If you stick it on a light stand or on a chair or whatever, you could prop it up with some books. The thing's portable. The thing is portable. So you can stick it on the arm of your chair or on a bookcase or whatever. It's pretty cool. One other thing which is really good is it's got smart focus. So you don't have to manually change the focus, which you can do if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just press the autofocus button and it kind of like shifts in and out until it thinks it's found the right one, and then boom, there you go. This whole thing is so intuitive to use. I've never used projectors before. Yes, I've used a lot of tech, but not projectors, and this was really easy, like super easy. Possibly even easier than setting up a TV. Now, obviously being portable means you're going to put it in different places, and that's where the brightness comes in, right? So this is a 2000 lumen brightness level. In my use case with this one, I found that it just worked best at night. If you have blackout blinds, then brilliant, you can use it throughout the day. And I did test this in my studio with the light off but the blinds open, and it was absolutely fine. But downstairs, projecting it onto my dining room wall with big double doors, like French double doors, where the sun sets that side as well, it was just washing the image out. So I actually had to put some like cloth over the doors effectively to make it way more usable. But for me, I mainly game at night anyway, so it's not really a problem, and the image is spot on at night. More on that in a minute when we talk about my experiences with the image. I'm just talking about the brightness here, but the brightness, yeah, it works best at night. But again, if you've got a projector screen, it's probably going to brighten it a little bit anyway, because you're on a white background, if that makes sense. Whereas with me, I'm shining it onto really dark backgrounds, and there's a lot of light where I am as well. So blackout blinds work best, light off, and then perfect. And then we get to turn it on, and then first of all, mind blown with how big the image is. Just 1.5 meters away, you get a 100-inch screen. It's just insane. I've got a 55-inch Sony OLED. I thought that was big until I've been playing around with this for the past week, and then every time I go and look at that TV now, it looks like one of those old CRT TVs. Like, it looks tiny when I know it's not. The image from this thing is massive and insanely clear. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the controls, because I really like the fact that there is actually hardwired controls like on the top of the projector. So you've got a little joystick there with buttons around it so that you can just use that. You don't need to use the remote. So if you are taking this and making it portable, taking it around your friend's house or whatever, doing some sort of meet up and doing some gaming that way, then you don't need the remote control, which you're probably going to lose. So I'd keep that at home and then just use the onboard controls, which are super easy to use. They work perfectly. The remote obviously has more options on the remote, so you can instantly do autofocus, instantly get to the 3D keystone, instantly get to the zoom and all that good stuff. But yeah, the controls and everything were perfect. I wasn't scratching my head going, what's this do? It was all intuitive, very easy. And then obviously it's got Android TV as well. Easy to set up. I just logged in with my Google account on my phone. It then set up the projector, done. I didn't have to do anything. I could go straight to YouTube and watch, the 128KB podcast or more of this channel. And then I could go to Netflix and watch stuff there. It was just really nice experience to be able to use this as a TV as well without needing to do anything else. But then we get onto the gaming. And again, I can't stress enough how amazing it was that I could get my Steam Deck or my Nintendo Switch, use one USB-C cable, which both powers the device and takes the signal out. Madness. I plugged it in, I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, love that game, and it just looks fantastic. Bear in mind the Nintendo Switch is a 1080p device, so obviously it's outputting at 1080p 60. It automatically detects the device's, resolution and all that good stuff, and then it gives you the best possible image as well, and I love that. Didn't feel any latency. Obviously this is a low latency monitor. This is next level. Like, this tech is gone way further ahead than I expected it to. The image quality is so nice, and I specifically noticed that as well when I went on to, say, my Steam Deck and I was playing Doom Eternal, just going, this just looks insane. Like, absolutely insane. But going to the Steam Deck, there is one thing that I want to sort of say about. The projector sees the Steam Deck as a limited color gamut when it's not. It's a full range color profile, and you have to actually go into the settings of the projector and change that. Because I put the Steam Deck on, the Switch was perfect, put the Steam Deck on, I was like, the color's a little bit weird. Like, it's all a bit dim and it looks a bit weird, and I thought this seems like a color profile kind of problem, and I went in and yes, it straight away said it was limited when it wasn't. If you put it to full, perfect, instant, amazing. And of course, on the Steam Deck, you can go into the external display area and you can choose a resolution. So you can output at 4K 60 if you want. You can output at 1440, 120. There's a million different refresh rates and resolutions on the Steam Deck that it lets you choose, including 1080p, 240 and all that good stuff. So you can just go ahead, choose what you want. It's ridiculous. But going back to the HDR, you need to set that manually per game. The image quality of this is so crisp. Even playing at lower resolutions like the Nintendo Switch at 1080p, I just can't believe how good this projector is and how crisp it is. I'm still blown away. I was expecting 1080p to be fuzzy and a bit meh. I even tried games at 720p from the Steam Deck just to see what it looked like, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I thought, okay, playing games at 720p or 800p on the Steam Deck itself will be good because you're on a screen that's like 7.5 inch or whatever, but 120 inch, 720p can't look good, can it? Yeah, it can. It can. So as a handheld gamer myself, this is what really shines for me. One single USB cable straight to it, and its portable nature. Obviously, handhelds are portable. This is a portable projector. I could literally take my Steam Deck or my Switch and this projector and nothing else and go and set up a 120-inch screen somewhere. Madness. Now, before we get onto my final thoughts and price, I do want to get onto some suggestions of improvements here. So first of all, I do think it should be supplied with the USB IF certified cable. I just feel like they should have supplied that USB-C cable just to make sure everyone's using the correct one, because there's many different USB-C cables and I'm sure loads of people will be using the wrong one and wondering why it doesn't work. The other thing is obviously this is portable, but it doesn't come with a case. That really was weird for me. And nor does it come with a carry handle. And yes, okay, we've got the little thing on the bottom that angles it up and down, but I didn't really feel comfortable picking it up from that. And if that snapped, the whole projector's on the floor, I'd rather it had a molded in handle on the top or something. And on that note, there's no lens cap either, and no automatic built-in lens cap. Like my cameras that I use here, when I turn it off, automatic lens cap comes down and protects the sensor inside. So either a physical lens cap that you stick onto a lens like mine just here, or an automatic shutter would be a really cool thing to see in the next model. And finally, as I said earlier, I still think it needs to have some sort of gimbal mechanism inside so that you can change the height of the screen. Can you put gimbals inside projectors? I've no idea. But those are all my sort of cons here. Everything else, I actually really like about it. I genuinely do. Yes, you could see the 2000 lumens thing as a negative, but not for me. When I think of gaming, I think blinds drawn, lights off, and like focus in on it. And that is exactly what this can do. And it is bright enough. They've given you pretty much everything you need to get the best image that you can and made it the easiest way to set up. I think projectors, think cables everywhere. Like, you don't need to worry about that. If you're using a handheld or even a console with an HDMI, you just plug it in. Done. So then comes to the price. Now, this is not cheap. When I think of projectors, I never think cheap. Obviously, this is a portable projector. It's coming in at £1,600, and it gets you this, which if you are someone that does like meets, like gaming meets for your group of friends or like events and stuff, where you're in like a dark lit room and you want to play some games that maybe doesn't have a TV or not a good one or whatever, this is excellent. It really is. Or if you've just got money, then this is really, really cool. I've always wanted to experience a decent gaming projector. I didn't even know if they were any good or not, and now I know they are, and this is the small portable one. And I think that's what I love about this, is it's much smaller and it's portable, and you just need one cable to set stuff up with it. It just ticks all the boxes for me personally as a handheld lover and someone that, travels down to see AJ and does the podcast and stuff. This is really cool. I just wish it had like a carry case, a lens cap, and like, up and down adjustment built into the thing. The only other thing is a downside is that I can't afford to buy one. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, overall, the gaming experience is amazing. So if you've got 1,600 quid and you want a portable gaming monitor, definitely check out the BenQ X300G. So what do you think of the BenQ X300G? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, well then tell BenQ to send us more stuff. Like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can see these videos early, and you get private access to our Discord where you can come chat to me, AJ, and everyone else that's in there as well. Check out another video from me over here, and check out our podcast where me and AJ talk about all things gaming over here, and well, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.